Hello, everybody. Today, I wanted to do a video talking about my experience at a concert. I went to go see Haim over the weekend, and I just thought I would do a sort of concert diary, concert review for this show that I went to, and I think I'll just probably do this for pretty much every or most concert I go to from here on out. I guess I should maybe talk a little bit about Haim and my relationship with them. So Haim is a three-piece band from Los Angeles, I believe, and they are a group of sisters, and they are like, I guess sort of, I don't know, a pop rock band, I guess is what you could call them. They just put out their fourth album, I Quit, earlier this year. I'm a big fan of it. It's not their best album or anything, but it is one that I've had on like pretty frequent rotation over the past like few months. I find that they are like a very talented band. Like they all play multiple instruments on their albums. Some of them are actors, specifically Alana Haim, the youngest sister. She was in Licorice Pizza from a few years ago and One Battle After Another earlier this year, just like a few weeks ago. That movie came out. I'm a big fan of those movies. Paul Thomas Anderson is like one of my favorite directors ever. Like that's kind of how I discovered them a little bit. I was working at a record store when Women in Music came out, and I think I do remember the release of that and that being kind of a big album at its time of release. So that's one way I discovered them, and then I discovered them a little bit more through Licorice Pizza, and then fully got into their music from there. I went with my girlfriend to this show. This is one of her favorite bands, and so it was like pretty exciting for her to go see them. She's seen them once before opening for Taylor Swift, but this was like the first real time in like a smaller venue and like their concert, you know? But what was really interesting about this show was that the tickets were like extremely cheap for a band of this size. They have over 1 million like monthly listeners on Spotify. Not that that really means a whole lot of anything, but again, this is a band that opened for Taylor Swift. We got our tickets for like $10. So grand total, hers and mine together, was like $26, which is very interesting. I've never been to a concert that cheap. I've never even been to a local concert that's like that cheap. I don't know if that was just like pure luck or if somebody was just reselling them for incredibly cheap. I don't know, but I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. I don't think I'll ever get to go to another concert that cheap ever again. And I don't think the rest of the shows were like that either. Looking at some of the other dates that they had on this tour, a lot of them seemed to be a bit more expensive. And so I guess we got lucky here. It was very exciting for us to go see them for just like a very cheap price. It's more expensive to go to the movies than it is to, I guess, go to this concert. We went to an indoor venue, which is good because it was like very rainy that day, and it was kind of stressful getting to the venue because of like the sheer amount of rain that was coming down. So I'm glad that it was an indoor show and not an outdoor show. I think they would have had to cancel the show if it was outdoors. So we got to the venue, I would say about 15 minutes before doors opened, and we got very lucky because we were like right up at the front of the stage pretty much. There were maybe like 2 people in front of us in terms of like rows to the barrier. So we were just right up there, right up the front. Obviously, I have some videos and pictures here that I'm showing you. You guys can see how close we were. And that was awesome. We didn't get any merch. We did look at the merch. It was good, but we thought about it, but we didn't want to like lose our place in the pit, especially with this being my girlfriend's favorite band. She was like very eager to be up close to them. So that was totally fine with. I didn't really need merch from them, I guess. So that was cool. They had one opening act. Her name was Dora Jar. I wasn't familiar with her before this concert. She seemed all right. That's what I'll say. Her music's not really for me, so I'm not going to like call it like bad or anything like that because it probably isn't. But I haven't listened to any of her studio recordings, so I don't know how she compares to her live sound or her actual music, you know? She had an interesting stage presence. She was very eccentric with like her dances and stuff like that, and it was very earnest and like kind of cringe a little bit, but who am I to like judge her for having just like the best time on stage? She looked like she was having a lot of fun, so I'll give her credit there. I don't think it's anything I would ever seek out. She had like a pretty good supporting band as well, and that was the only opener. She was all right. And then one thing that was interesting about this concert was part of their stage setup was they had this electronic sign that presented messages throughout like the concerts. It has sometimes have like lyrics. Sometimes they would like use it to like as like a fourth member of their band, and it would like ask questions to them or something like that. It was very interactive, and they would have like some of the messages would be related to the I Quit albums. It'd be like I quit relationships, I quit smoking, I quit whatever, you know, just various messages they'd throw up there during songs. But before they went on stage, it was like a percentage bar, if that makes sense. So it would be like 47%, and that's like telling you how long until they come out. Even though percentage is not like an amount of time, it's like we're 47% of the way there, and they'll be out in the next, 53% or whatever. And that was neat. It was nice to be able to like look up and be like, okay, we're at 72 right now. We're very close. They'll be out in the next probably 10 minutes or so. It was nice to be able to like look at that and be like, okay, this is what's going on. And I kind of wish that was at all concerts so I could like have an idea of like what time or like how long until the band comes out. But it was also kind of distracting. Like once I noticed it, I think I noticed it around the 20 to 30% mark. And once I noticed it, like I couldn't stop looking at it. Like I just like kept looking up to be like, oh, it's gone up 1% or it's gone up 5% or something like that. So it was a little distracting, but I did appreciate them letting us know how much longer until they'd come out. They came out, they played a 16 song set list, I believe, with 2 encore songs, so 18 total. It was a pretty good show, all things considered. I think they played mostly stuff off their new album, I Quit, which makes sense because it's the I Quit tour, and they played a handful of songs off of their previous records, as bands do when they go on tour. I think it was a pretty good set list. I'm not like the biggest fan of this group. Like I don't know every single song of theirs, so they played a lot of the stuff that I was familiar with, a lot of the hits, and a lot of the new album, which again I'm very familiar with. That was good. So I can't really, I don't know, judge this set list from a more like nuanced fan opinion. Like I don't know if like the diehard fans were like this set list is boring or whatever, or you know, I wish they'd played more off of one of their older albums, things like that, you know. But they were very entertaining, and I had a pretty good time at it. They're very interactive with the crowd. We got very close to them. They were like giving out drumsticks and guitar picks at the end of the concert. We didn't get any, but we were very close to them, and they waved at us a few times, and it was a pretty good concert, and they had pretty good stage presence. They sounded good. Again, they like really show off how many instruments they can play. They have their mandolin and all their drums. They do like a drum line thing at the end of the concert, which is cool. They have some other backing musicians there. They had a guy that plays saxophone. He was good. I liked him. Some other drummers, things like that. Overall, I had a pretty good time at this concert. I would recommend seeing this band live if you're a fan of them and you're like maybe on the fence, especially if you can get a ticket for like $10. Haim was a good time. I recommend them. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe, like, leave a hate comment, leave a positive comment. Check out Haim, and have a good rest of your day.